Good morning, American government. Thursday, April the 16th. One more day to go this week, and you can do it. I enjoyed reading the re-ranking of your amendments and thought of some of them were quite intriguing. But for the most part, when it came to the First Amendment, it was ranked very high. Some of you kept it at number one, but certainly for the most part, it was, I would say, in the top five for basically all of you. So when we talk about the First Amendment, there's a couple things in there, but we're going to talk initially about the freedom of religion and the intended meaning of that. And even to this day, in courtrooms, boardrooms, classrooms across this country, we continue to debate what exactly is meant by freedom of religion in the Constitution. So the big question is, what was the original intent of our founding fathers? And is it applicable in 2020? Understanding, we've discussed this before, that the Constitution is sort of one of these living and breathing documents, and it's open to interpretation, and it was designed to be flexible with the changing of America without losing its intent or its value. But the question is, today, has America missed the mark when it comes to freedom of religion? And when you start talking about freedom of religion, people lose their minds. What's interesting, even here at school, within this SFCA community, at times I have been accused, find this hard to believe, of being a left-wing radical socialist. And then at times, I have had people claim that I'm a Bible-banging conservative Christian nut job. And so the question is, how can that be? But the more I think about it, I think when it comes to freedom of religion, when we start talking about religion, people have a tendency to lose their minds. And at the center of all of this is the First Amendment. And within the First Amendment, there's two interesting clauses that sort of stir all the controversy. The first one is the Establishment Clause, and it says something to the effect that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Now, these are the Founding Fathers, and the interpretation is, what exactly did they mean? And how are we applying that over the last 240 years? The second clause in the First Amendment, when it comes to freedom of religion, is the Free Exercise Clause. And it says something to the fact that prohibits a government from unduly interfering with the free exercise of religion. And so with those two clauses, all these debates have spurred up over the years. We even debate it today. You know this. You go to a Christian school, so you can pray. You can't pray at Fort Myers High School. You have a football game. You can pray. If you are at a secular school, we're not praying at a football game. At graduation, depending we will have a ceremony for you. Somehow, some way, we'll make it happen. But guess what? Prayer will be involved. If you were going to a secular school, right, there's a great chance, a very good chance, that prayer would not be involved with that, because it just stirs some emotion in some people. So when we start thinking about freedom of religion, and we think about that First Amendment, and we look at the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause, and what we're trying to do is get our arms around, what do those Founding Fathers, what was the intent? And again, understanding America's different now than it was 240 plus years ago. Are we applying it with the same intention? And that's what we debate. We have court case after court case after court case. Classrooms debate this. Boardrooms for schools, boardrooms in corporations debate this all the time. So when we can look at a whole bunch of different areas. For instance, taking an oath in a political office. We're talking about the President of the United States. Come January, when we inaugurate another president, the president will take an oath. So help me God. A lawsuit will be filed. People get offended by that. When it comes to financial aid to non-secular schools, people get up in arms about that. There's been court cases, and you're going to read about some of those. School prayer, we just talked about that. What about theory of evolution? We start talking about that in school. All these things float to the top, and it divides the room. There's no doubt about it. Things such as expression toward our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag, right? One nation under God. Some people are just freaked out about that kind of thing. Don't make my child, you can't force my child to say those things. So it is convoluted. It's got lots of arms and legs. It's messy. So that's what we're going to start to dive into. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to read in your textbook, page 358 to 364, and it's going to talk about a number of things. It's going to talk about the free exercise clause, the establishment clause. It's going to look at a couple court cases. So I want you to read those pages. I have attached Section 2 discussion questions. There's a couple terms that I need you to know. So we'll go through those, and then if you'll watch these 2 short videos, it'll sort of bring all this together, and then what we can do is we can discuss in length this whole idea of freedom of religion. So if you need me, I'm here. Again, office hours are 8 to 11, but the truth of the matter is I'm here all day. So if you need me, just give me a shout. I will get right back to you. Please stay up with your work. We're giving you assignments. We're giving you about 48 hours to get those things completed. Give them to me. Please do them. Stay on top of RenWeb. I'm fairly active with RenWeb, or fax, I should say. So your grades are typically up to date, especially over the weekends. They'll be up to date. So stay on top of those. Hang in there. You got a couple more weeks, and this is all over. So if you need me, give me a shout.